There's a strange kind of relationship where the person you love mostly exists inside your phone. You wake up, check your messages. You go through your day, waiting for replies. You fall asleep, sometimes still on a call. And somehow, even after talking to them, you still miss them. Not just a little, but in a way that feels physical. Like something is missing from your chest. And if you've ever felt that, you're not being dramatic. Your brain might actually be treating that feeling like pain. Long distance taught me two things at the same time. First, how difficult it is. And second, how strangely romantic it can be. Because when someone is thousands of kilometers away, love stops being convenient and starts becoming a choice. Imagine this. Maybe your partner is around 9,000 kilometers away from you. Maybe there's a 5 to 6 hour time difference. Maybe they're in Cambodia and you're in New Zealand. You're in one country, they're in another. When they're finishing their day, you're already exhausted. When you're free, they're busy. So you start doing small things that don't seem like much, but mean everything. You stay up later than you should, just to talk for 20 minutes. You wait for them to get home safely before you sleep. You eat meals together through a screen. You send updates about your day, even when nothing interesting happened. And somehow, those small things become the relationship. But here's the part people don't talk about enough. Long distance is not just about missing someone. It's about the space between messages, the silence, the waiting. Because when someone is physically there, your brain has constant proof that they exist in your life. You can see them, hear them, feel them. But when they're far away, your brain has to fill in the gaps. And that's where things get complicated. Because your brain doesn't like uncertainty. If a message is delayed, your brain doesn't just say, "They're probably busy." Sometimes it says, "Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Why haven't they replied yet?" Even if nothing is actually wrong. There's a reason for that. Some research suggests that one of the brain regions linked to physical pain also becomes active during social rejection. So when people say, "Missing someone hurts," your brain might be taking that more literally than you think. But here's the twist. Long distance doesn't just create pain. It also reveals something deeper. Because when you remove physical presence, what's left is consistency. Consistency is what keeps the relationship alive. Not grand gestures, not perfect conversations, just showing up. Again and again, even when it's inconvenient. And this is where long distance becomes strangely romantic. Because you're not choosing each other when it's easy. You're choosing each other when it's difficult. When you're tired. When the timing doesn't match. When all you have is a screen and a voice. Sometimes you don't even talk. You just stay on the call, doing your own things, working, cooking, scrolling, but knowing they're there. And somehow, that's enough. People think long distance is just FaceTiming all day. But in reality, most days you're both living normal lives. trying to find small pockets of time to connect. People think if you love each other enough, distance shouldn't be hard. But the truth is, the stronger the love, the harder it can feel to be apart. People think the hardest part is cheating. But often, the hardest part is missing the one person you want to talk to, while time zones make that difficult. People think you get used to being apart, but you don't. You just learn how to handle it better. And visits, they're everything. But the goodbyes, they hurt in a way that's hard to explain. Because for a short time, everything feels normal again. You don't need to schedule calls. You don't need to wait for replies. They're just there. And then suddenly, they're not. And you're back to your phone. Back to the distance. Back to missing them. This is where trust becomes everything. Because in long distance, you don't always have immediate answers. Sometimes the call drops. Maybe their phone died. Maybe their data ran out. Maybe something unexpected happened. But for a moment, your brain might feel hurt, like they hung up on you. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can panic, or you can trust, because love and trust go hand in hand, especially across miles. And trust in long distance isn't just about loyalty. It's about believing in the relationship, even when you don't have constant proof. That's why small routines matter so much. A good morning message, a good night call, updating each other when you go out, a quick check-in during the day, maybe a weekly movie night, maybe eating together through a screen, maybe staying on the phone while doing nothing. These things might seem small, but they're not. They're reassurance. And the best kind of reassurance is the kind that's freely given, not something you have to beg for. That's also where you start noticing the green flags. They make time for you, even when it's inconvenient. They update you without being asked. They make you feel emotionally safe. They celebrate your wins, even from far away. They talk about the future, not just someday, but real plans. The next visit, the moment the distance closes.
They reassure you without making you feel like you're asking for too much. They choose transparency, not because they're controlled, but because they care. And when things get difficult, they don't disappear. They come back. They talk. They fix things. Because in long distance, consistency has power over convenience. And that's the real test. Not just whether you love each other, but whether you keep choosing each other when love is inconvenient. Because long distance is not just about distance. It's about uncertainty, absence, reassurance, and whether both people are willing to keep showing up. And if they are, something interesting happens. The distance doesn't disappear, but it starts to feel temporary, like a phase, not the ending. Because at some point, all those late nights, all those calls,
all those small routines, they're not just ways to survive the distance. They're proof that even when everything made it difficult, you still chose each other. And maybe that's why missing someone feels so painful. Because it means they matter. Because it means your brain has learned that they're part of your life. And when they're not physically there, your brain notices. Your body notices. You notice. But pain doesn't always mean something is wrong. Sometimes, it just means something is real.